With 69% of Nebraska pastures and ranges rated as poor or very poor, it's growing more apparent most cattle producers could face another long summer. While recent rains have greened up pastures in the eastern part of the state, that color doesn't exist in large quantities near North Platte. As we've noted in past shows, North Platte arguably seems to be the epicenter for drought in Nebraska. Just south of the West Central Research and Extension Center, we spoke with Jerry Valesky Monday about what producers can be planning for.
Well, here in West Central Nebraska, we're off to a slow start here this spring. Both combination of factors coming into play. First being our April temperatures were so much below normal. And then likewise, we are still behind precipitation-wise. The months of March, April, and here into mid-May, we're about 1.5 inches to some places might even be 2 inches below their normal rainfall for that early or that spring period. So that's got a lot of people concerned. Our grass growth is way behind.
Cold season grasses, what are you looking for production there?
Well, with those cool season grasses, with that slow start, that primarily because of the temperatures in April, we're seeing that what I anticipate them to happen is production is going to be down, because here as we're getting into mid-May, this is their primary time, or when the time of the year when they grow most rapidly. And what's going to happen, I think, is that they'll be shorter. They'll continue to try to go into their stages of maturity and go here reproductive, say towards the end of the month, depending on the species. But they're going to be shorter, and that means less forage available.
So what's the recommendation? I mean, obviously you would hope that at some point you're going to get rain. There's a chance at least towards the end of this week as we currently talk here on Monday. But as you look to try and make a plan for May, June, July, what is that plan?
Oh, that's right. I think one common practice that, or suggestion that a lot of ranchers do use, is to delaying turnout to their primary summer pastures, and that's because of the severe drought we had last year, and then plus the uncertainty and somewhat below normal precipitations we've had through this spring. And with that delay in turnout, basically we're working for the pastures there, trying to give them some opportunity to recover, have a chance for maybe more soil moisture to accumulate, because that's one thing, that soil moisture, we're way behind yet, even with the bit of rain we've had. It's significantly dry as we get into those say below 15 to 24 inches in terms of a soil like this. Next important thing will be to, I think, be flexible with their stocking rate. We know that their stocking rate should be down just because of the fact that last year's drought was so severe, and that had a fairly good negative impact on our grasses, their vigor and overall health, and we just do anticipate them to be less productive this year. So watch the utilization closely and be ready at a moment's notice, if you will, to destock if necessary.
But you are expecting that there will be a reduced carrying capacity? That's right,
yeah, definitely reduced carrying capacity, yes.
With a situation like this where the grass is finding it harder to survive and therefore thrive, do producers need to be on the lookout for more weeds and more noxious weeds?
That's right. It's pretty common that after a drought or with ongoing drought, the weedy species can be really abundant. A lot of these are just annual weeds that they take the opportunity to, I guess, flourish, if you will, with some rains. The other grasses are a little bit weaker, but on the same time, like you mentioned, the noxious weeds, to be on the lookout for those, particularly as we go into more western Nebraska. There tends to be more of those poisonous plant species out there in terms of the livestock. And if the other desirable available forage is much more limited, those poisonous plants can become an issue, and the cattle will go out and consume some of those.